Here's how I make a vase. So starting with your ball of clay, you need to get it centered. So a bit of water for lubricant and then making the clay into a little hill shape. Then squeeze the clay up until you get a bit of a unicorn horn shape or a sausage or let's stick with unicorn horn. And don't worry if it gets a bit wobbly. It always does wobble a bit. I think that's what gives the pot character. So don't get too stressed. You just need to center it roughly. And you can see here I'm pushing it down into what I call a Tunnock's tea cake shape. But if you don't know what one of those is, a bread roll. And then you just need to finger in. So slowly press your finger into the center until you get a bit of a volcano shape. So you can see now there's the hill of the volcano and there's the hole in the middle. I haven't gone all the way to the bottom because I don't want to let the lava out, and that's going to be the base of the pot. Then I need to belly it out, and I use a paintbrush to do that. So the paintbrush is on the inside, and then I slowly push with the paintbrush to belly the pot out. Now we just need to give it a neck. So I'm going to slowly press in where I want the neck to be and carve out the profile of the pot with the paintbrush. So you can start to see a vase emerging. I'm going to flatten out the rim because if you have a tidy rim, then you have a tidy pot, and you can see it's spinning fairly symmetrical at the moment. And then watch this. Let's carve that pot. So pushing around, it's starting to take shape. I need to cut into the base. So at a 45-degree angle, I'm going to really push in there, right down into the base and cut that bit of clay away. And a really good pottery hack with the small wheel is I don't trim any of these pots. I just get the base how I want it now, and then once it's dried off the bat, I give it a little rub with the sponge, and then it's done. So now let's just really refine it, get it exactly how we want it, tickle that outside and get the neck just nice and thin. If you need to, belly out a little bit more. You should see it change shape slightly now. I'm going to microfire this, so I want to make sure that the clay body is nice and thin. And you can see now it's very responsive to my pushes with the paintbrush. It's got a slight wobble, so we're just going to flatten that out. And then if there's any wobbles at the end, what you can do is use the bristly side of the paintbrush just to tickle out any wobbles or any loose bits of clay. I quite like the surface having some lines in it because it looks hand thrown, but essentially this is how I like to throw a vase. So in a moment, I think I'm going to finish, and then I'll be able to take the pot away, ready to dry, and then microfire later. You can do all firings in the microwave: bisque, earthenware and stoneware. This one I'm bisquing. It's been in the microwave for about 10 to 15 minutes. Each one is different, but I know it's done because it is glowing. And here I'm going to show you, it's red hot, so you know bisque has been achieved. Then a lick of glaze, and this is a great point to show you how I dry a pot. So this is a wet glazed pot that I'm going to dry using the residual heat from the micro kiln. Nothing can go in the kiln wet, so this pot needs to be dry, and I'll pop it on the base plate. Then using the lid, I'll cover it over very slowly, allowing it to dry. I'll give it a little check, and then it'll go back into the microwave. And every pot fires for a different length of time, but what you want to do is have it in there long enough for the glaze to mature and the pot to glow. So now I take it out, I know it's glowing hot and it's going to ignite the combustibles. The flames will create the reduction, and you'll see this goes from green to copper, which is where the magic starts, because in this reduction the glazes are changing, and I'm going to quench this one once it's cooled down a bit so I can touch it with my hands, and you can see that I've got greens, I've got mirrors, I've got all the lustres across the surface of the pot. The added magic of this glaze is that every single one is unique. This one's green, but change the timings and the reductions, and this one has come out rainbow raku. Who knows how the next one will come out, but that's what I love about pottery.